In this video, we're going to cover the Zenly 2.7 SP1 updates that have rolled out. I'm going to put our legal disclaimer with our housekeeping up for just a moment. Inside our release, our new feature we have reports available. You can see there are 4 reports here: active pipeline, lender, new prospect, and closed reports. So you now are able to run those inside of Zenly. Some enhancements we did: the screens on the processing tab, we have updated some of the fields for the tax return requests. And on our print forms, we have updated the notice of action taken, the supplemental consumer information form or SCIF, the 4506C forms, and HOPA ownership counseling list. A couple of other updates that we put in here is we have updated the expiration date to export 2 digits now, and the monthly payment is now going to populate when you use the proposed housing with the percent calculation inside of the loan area. So let me open up Zenly and show you these new features and updates. I've opened up Zenly here. You can see at the top menu bar, the second one is now Reports. That has been added. And click on the Reports tab. And you can see the 4 reports that we have below. These reports are not editable, so you're not able to change the data that is pulled into it. And the loan results that you get is going to be based on your loan access. Either you are limited to see just your own files, or you will be able to see all of the files inside of your Zenly system. I'm going to open up Active Pipeline Report and walk you through how to use a report. You can see the title of the report in that top left area. And then below that, you have your filters. This is going to narrow your results down. Over on the right, you have 2 buttons. The top button is the Statuses button. I'm going to click that. This will allow you to check any status that your loan is currently in to pull that into a report. Let me go ahead. I'm going to click Application as an example. So this will generate a report that only has loans in the current application status. I'm going to click the Generate button that's under our status, and this will bring up our results. Now that we've generated the report, you can see there's now a button, Export to CSV, underneath that, and that will allow you to export the results of this report and allow you to then make any edits that you want. The report screen is going to pull up only 500 results. So if your report has more than 500 results, you will see an arrow down at the bottom for a next page, and that will allow you to toggle between your pages. It will also only export to CSV the 500 that are on your current screen. So if you do have multiple pages, you will need to export those individually, and then you could merge those into one report. Let's go work on a filter. I'm going to refresh the page. The top line is for status. So if we want to see all of our loans that went into a certain status, we'll say application. Between certain dates, let's do last month to this date. We can select that piece of information and then click Generate. You can see over in the status column, we have other statuses besides application. That's because some of the loans may have progressed on since application. If you don't put any between dates in those fields, it will pull any file that has ever been in the status that you select. Let me refresh our page again. And if I just pick application here and generate, you can see that it's got all of our applications, status of applications and other loans, and they are from earlier dates. You do want to remember, if you're going to use a filter, to put between dates, or you're going to get everything that was ever in that status. And if you want to see a file that's currently in the status, that's when you use the Statuses button on the right and check box the statuses you want to see. Another filter we have is for the loan originator. If you have your settings set to see all of the files inside of your Zenly system, you will have this drop down and you'll be able to see the loan originator's names. If you just have it set to see your own files, you will not see this loan originator drop down. You will just be running the report on your own files. Let me open the Loans tab and an actual file, and we can walk through the screens that have been changed and the print forms as well. Our first enhancement to a screen is under our Processing tab, and on the left, the Tax Return Requests. This screen has been updated for the upcoming 4506C change that's currently required to go out in March of 2023. We've added here up in the top 5A the participation ID, and in 5D we have added the client information. You also have a same as IVES checkbox, so if 5A and 5D need to be the same, you can click that and save some time typing. We've also added some information under the request for transcripts of tax returns. That is with the Add button. So inside here, you'll see that there is now a unique ID area, and we have separated the borrower and spouse's name into two separate sections, and we've split it between first, middle, and last name as the new form is requiring. Underneath the names, we have two check boxes. You have a line 1A requesting wage and income transcripts, and over on the spouse, a line 2A request wage and income transcripts. To get those boxes to ungray, you'll select the transcript request on the bottom left. You select your form, and these will ungray, allowing you to use that option. And we've also added the request wage and income form drop-downs down at the bottom, now allowing you to pick the form that you wish to request. The next enhancement is on the Underwriting tab, so let me click on that. And then over on the left, the Notice of Action Taken. Inside the Notice of Action Taken, there are several check boxes. You're going to need to check the checkbox if you want the information below to flow over to page 2 of your Notice of Action Taken. I'm going to scroll down a little bit here. If you are clicking the Part 2 checkbox, information obtained in a report from a consumer reporting agency, if you check that box, it's going to print in this top section of page 2. If you do not check that and you have the information filled out below here in Zenly, it still will not print, so do make sure that you are checking that box if you do want to see that flow over to page 2. The other checkbox is down in the credit agency area. This top checkbox, information obtained from outside sources other than a consumer reporting agency, you have the right to request in writing a disclosure of the nature of this information. If you checkbox this lower section of page 2 of the Notice of Action Taken will fill in. So you have these two options, and you do need to check the checkbox for the information to flow over. We've also made the SCIF form available to print blank with a file. So it'll print the lender case and the agency case number up at the top, but the rest of it will be blank if you haven't filled out the HOPA or the language preference area. And finally, on the HOPA print screen, we've updated the URL in the last paragraph to be able to direct you directly to that site. If you have any questions, please reach out to our dedicated customer service at 1-800-342-2599.